Hey, I'm Jenny.
And I'm Hillary, and you can call us
The Garden Tarts.
Kissing lips and breaking hearts.
We have been bestest friends for over 25 years, and we love to talk U2.
We've had some super ridiculous adventures, and now this podcast, which is pretty much all opinion with a handful of facts thrown in.
Why a U2 podcast? Because as much as we love talking U2, we know you do too.
So sit down, grab a drink, and find us on Instagram and Twitter so we can chat.
Well, welcome to side B of the Joshua Tree. If you are just tuning in now, you missed side A. Go back and up. Or two.
This is the continuation if you didn't figure out side A, side B.
Yeah, like the old cassettes and vinyls.
Yeah. You kids probably don't know what that is.
Vinyls, they're pretty cool nowadays.
Yeah, vinyls.
You can understand flipping over a vinyl.
Hip. Yeah, gotcha. I think my new version of the Joshua Tree with the gold disc, I think the entire album is on both sides.
Oh, well, that's convenient for listening, but not convenient for knowing where side B starts.
Oh, no. I think I'm right about that. I could be incorrect, but don't fact check me. It doesn't matter.
Okay, it's cool. So this is an interesting side because all the major hits are on side A.
Yeah, the running order of the album was very, very perfect. I mean, they knew what they were doing, except that all the big singles, the big songs are on side A. But if you want, a better side A than side B, then they did everything right.
Right. Yeah. I read some article just recently as I was doing research for this, and it was like, the Joshua Tree is not the masterpiece you remember it being. Which I thought was interesting, and I read into it a little bit, and then it got long, and I got bored. And I'm like, I don't need to read this anymore. But it was like all the hits are up front, and then they said Bono could sing the phone book, and he would sound amazing.
Right.
So he referred to side B as the phone book.
Phone book. It is
I think it's a little harsh.
Yeah, it is again an example of where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Where we talked about, God, what was it? I don't know, another album where the individual songs were good, but the album as a whole didn't hold.
Yeah. Was that Unforgettable?
It maybe was Unforgettable Fire.
Fire.
Yeah, that each song was stronger than the album as a whole, which is interesting.
Really interesting. Right. But the songs that were good are absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
Well, in the Joshua Tree, the hits are just the good stuff is so good that it makes up for the stuff that's just great.
But even the worst of the Joshua Tree is still better than almost any song off of any other album ever in the history of the world.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You mean up to the current history?
I mean, I'm being very liberal when I say ever for the history of the world, but the worst song on the Joshua Tree is still better than the best song on most other albums. So how have you been this week?
I've been pretty good. It's been a little bit of a rough week. I hurt my back last week, which has kept me out of all the things I love, which is mostly lifting heavy things and kicking stuff. I haven't been able to do any of that until today. I went back to the gym today, and I was very slow, but I was glad to be back there. But other than that, things are good. How about yourself?
I have had a weird weekend. I did my intro to trapeze yoga class, which was fun and really exhausting. And then I went out to a distillery in Newport News, Ironclad, with my friend Kelly and two of my cousins, and drank quite a bit. And they had all these dogs there that were just the cutest, sweetest things, and we laughed a lot and had a really good time. And then Sunday morning, I went to have a fancy brunch with my parents and my aunt, whose birthday was the day before. So
very nice.
It was a very nice weekend.
I want to do all those things.
Yeah, it was fun. I wish I'd spread it out a little more because it was like way too much fun for like 2 days where now I'm gonna have like nothing to do this week.
And you're sore from trapeze yoga?
I'm sore, really sore from trapeze yoga and the weather has been crazy, so I'm having allergy and asthma issues and when I cough it hurts because
Oh
trapeze
no.
yoga tried to kill me. But I probably still am gonna go back
Yeah. I
because it
see that
was
you're wearing your inspired red campaign sweatshirt.
I am. God
I'm
knows how old this is.
super jealous of that.
It's
It's that
really
time of
old.
year
It is that
where
time
you
of year.
should shop red for the holidays and,
Yeah.
help eradicate AIDS.
I'm also wearing what you can't see, but I'm also wearing red leggings. They're not red brand, but they're red leggings with white hearts on it.
Oh, very nice.
So what are you drinking?
I decided to change up my straight up whiskey this evening and went with my usual Jameson, but added a ginger beer that coincidentally happens to be from Australia,
No
which I
way.
say I had it in the fridge from some party we had like 1,000 years ago, and I don't usually drink those beers like it's like root beer, but ginger, like it's not
Right. Right.
alcoholic. But the U2 is playing in Australia right now, if you're listening to this later. So I thought that was just a pleasant little surprise. And it's
Very.
quite nice. I've got it chilled on some ice and I'm really enjoying it.
I am drinking. It is called Blue Chair Bay Key Lime Rum Cream, and
What?
I know, and I cannot read the label on it, even with reading glasses. Whoever the hell decided to write this is a really stupid idiot because with reading glasses, I
Yeah,
cannot read it.
that
Reading
is
glasses
crazy.
that are like pretty strong. It has something, the brand has something to do with Kenny Chesney. That's all I know. I saw it in the liquor store and I'm like, that sounds good. And then I saw it on the big bottle because seriously, this is like holy crap small writing. Like I don't know how you could ever read this, but it has a little story on it that I can't read that has something to do with Kenny Chesney.
Is it like the same label they have on the big bottle? They just put it on a little
Yes.
airplane bottle?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually do the smartest thing ever that one of my clients showed me how to do once was to take a picture of something you can't read on your phone and then blow it up,
Oh, that's
which
brilliant.
I still cannot read it because it's like green writing on a green bottle.
Yeah, I could see it with like a clear label, like so it's
Yeah,
just blending in. Maybe
it's
once it's empty, it'll be easier.
maybe, but it has something to do with Kenny Chesney, who I'm not really a fan, but the other flavor that they had, I think they had three flavors, but the only ones that I was interested in were the key lime rum cream and banana rum cream, which I also purchased.
Interesting. Maybe
Hmm.
we'll have our own liquor sometime.
Yeah. And so also this lady at Ironclad who told me about the banana Kenny Chesney
Yeah.
said there is some peanut whiskey
What?
called Screwball. And I'm like, that's really weird. And how the hell am I ever going to remember that when by the time I get to the liquor store? And I didn't write it down. And I went to the liquor store and I found the Kenny Chesney banana stuff and the key lime stuff. And I asked, I'm like, so I don't know if I'm being punked here, but I think that the lady at the bar said there was something called Screwball whiskey. And she was like, yeah, we're out of it. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
oh my God, I'll be back.
So I'm almost done with this bottle of Jameson, and the last time I went to refill my whiskey rations, I was like, I'm not gonna buy a Jameson. I'm not gonna buy Jameson. I'm gonna get something different, and I didn't. But they had one. It was way on the bottom shelf. It was kind of hidden, and it was way less expensive. But I might get it next time. It's an Irish whiskey, and it's called like Two Gingers or something. It
Huh,
has a picture, like a drawing of like two women on it. I might have to get it and support these women entrepreneurs creating
definitely.
whiskey out of Ireland and try
Definitely.
it. I feel like the whole bottle was like $10 or
Oh my
something.
God, you should get that.
So I
It's
should just
probably gonna make you sick though. For $10, I wouldn't put all my hopes and dreams into that
And if
bottle.
it's $10 for something that's not mass produced, why not? It's in my local Cleveland grocery store.
Right,
So
you should get it. Well, my other purchase, aside from the little bottles of peach cello and key lime rum cream and banana rum cream, I also got this seasonal Bailey's, which I'm a giant sucker for, and
yeah,
that
every
is red
time.
velvet.
Oh,
Red velvet Bailey's. So I haven't opened that up yet. We'll see how that
I'm
goes.
such a sucker for seasonal brands
Oh my
or seasonal
God.
flavors.
I
They have
j-
like a peppermint tea mocha one, don't they?
I don't know. I still have some left from the summer, which was strawberry, which was delicious.
I've not
And
had
then
that.
like last year they had the salted caramel as the seasonal thing, but now it's a regular flavor
Oh,
of
nice.
Bailey. So it's not seasonal. I did
Must
not
have
love
gone
it.
well.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but
We
but
had
I
one.
drank the bottle, so must not have been that bad.
I feel like the last time you were here for New Year's, we used a seasonal Bailey's that turned into a drink we called fudge teeth.
It was, but was that the one we were in the grocery store and I texted
Your bartender.
my bartender who was seeing some child's movie during the day by himself.
And you're like, what do I need to get to pair with this Bailey's flavor?
And he's like, "Hang on, wait until this cartoon movie's done, and then I'll
But
I'll
we're
give
in the
you a
store now.
yeah."
Store then. We could get that then, and then we had to go to the liquor store to get proper liquor.
Right. Anyway, today's his birthday. Happy birthday, Kip.
Hey, it is also the birthday of Octon Baby.
It is the birthday of Octung Baby, which I have a note about.
We
Happy
Octon Baby
birthday, Octung Baby.
is 28 years old. 28,
That's crazy.
which means I have been a U2 fan for almost 28 years. Maybe
Nuts.
27. It is a lot more. It's like 60 some percent of my life. I did the math once. It's like
Wow.
63% of my life or something.
That's crazy. I have a little note about that, which I forgot
Okay.
about until you just said that. I also never got the connection that um, Kip's birthday was the Octung Baby. That must have been a nice birthday. So I bought my Octung Baby CD at Mother's Records and Tapes. It was the cardboard format,
Okay.
not the jewel case. And I remember this because Mother's had a lifetime guarantee on all CDs and
Okay.
cassettes.
Wow.
Yeah, and they put a sticker on each CD case, which for this one pissed me off because it was a
Yeah.
freaking cardboard and it ruined the case, and that just wasn't
It's not
cool.
cool.
Then I was trying to remember if I bought it at the Mother's Records at Tapes at Coliseum or at Patrick Henry Mall, and I don't remember, but I also don't remember where that CD went. And maybe it's in heaven along with the defunct Mother's Records and Tapes. I guess the lifetime guarantee was for their lifetime and not mine or the CDs. May they rest in peace, all of them, because they're not pertinent to society anymore.
Should we pour something for the fallen? Pour it in my mouth.
They're both Mother's Records and Tapes and my Octung Baby CD are in heaven together.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I have a few versions of Octon Baby. I bought it in the regular cassette with CD with the jewel case, but I later was at like a record resale shop and bought the cardboard version. And gosh, I really wish I remember when I got it. It was not when it first came out. It was recommended by some friends, and I went out like that day and got it. But I don't remember if it was 91 or 92 or
I got it within a few days of it coming out, but I don't think I got it on the day, but it was within a few days.
Well,
But
should we get into side B here?
yeah, let's get inside B.
Okay.
We have way more to talk about Octung Baby, and I might tell that story again about Mother's Records and Tapes because you guys are probably gonna forget it, and I really
know.
like that story.
I was going to tell my whole finding out about Octon Baby story, but decided to save it.
Yeah, we have a whole album for that.
And that might be like 3 separate episodes.
Yeah, it
Oh my
very well could be.
holy.
Side
We've
A,
been
side
calling
B, side C.
side notes, appendix,
Right. Glossary.
addendum, part 1.
Side B part 1.
We're just gonna do a song per episode.
Yeah. Hey, remember when we listened to You Talking You Two to Me? And there
Yeah.
was a whole episode that they didn't talk about the album at all that they were supposed to talk about. And so they had to go back and the next episode, like they had 0% album
0%
content.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next one they went to was like a straightforward,
I think it
just
was
the album.
Oxen Baby too. For some reason, I remember being excited, like I can't wait to hear what they say about Oxen Baby, and then there was none.
It was like 2 hours of Harry Potter reading and blue turtling. Like,
And God knows what else.
I need to go back and do it. Oh, so we called side A, we called that episode Taking on Goliath because Joshua Tree is so huge, which is why we're breaking it into two. But we know that like this is Joshua Tree's the Goliath, but Oxen Baby is going to be like the mammoth. Like,
Right.
is a mammoth bigger than a Goliath?
I don't know.
I don't think
It's gonna
so.
be like
A beast.
we need to come up with some war reference. I think we're out of biblical. This is like war time.
Yeah.
Not war like the album, but like some sort of global war. We're like, you know what? We're
What?
like the Maccabees.
We're the
Hey, how that's pretty, huh? We are back to biblical stuff.
Yeah, going. I mean, Bible, war, they all go together.
Yeah, we're the Maccabees. We're gonna
Take it on.
odds keep on shining.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
so
song, when I'm shining, everybody's gonna shine. Hashtag Lizzo.
yes. Okay, so side B of the Joshua Tree starts with track 6, Red Hill Mining Town, which has been played 56 times, and I have heard it 5.
And I've heard it 3 every time on the Joshua Tree tour.
Yeah, so it was never played during the original Joshua Tree War because Bono had a hard time singing it. The first performance ever in the history of the world, U2 World, it was played live, was the first show of the anniversary tour in Vancouver, May 12th, 2017, and I was there.
That was the first time it was ever played live.
Ever played, ever.
So I want to know, I have this about a later song. I think a lot of these songs on this album are not in his range.
No, I think you're correct about that.
They're not in his key signature, which I've learned recently is B flat.
Okay. Fascinating. I didn't know that.
That was in U2 by U2.
Yeah. Gotcha.
For some reason that stuck with me. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. The song is not about America at all. However, it is Bob Dylan influenced.
That's what I have. I think that it's Bono's take on the American folk song, but I don't think it worked out the way he planned it. The theme comes across, but the music just it kind of fell flat for me. It's not my favorite song on the album.
It's not mine either, but I have something to say about that in a minute. Can I talk a little bit about the background?
Go for it.
Of the subject? So there was a big, huge miners' strike in Britain. It was a really big deal, of which I know very little about. And Bono said that he was interested. So, they're diving into politics and talking a little bit about politics. There's some quote that I have later on about how he doesn't feel that it's he can tell the stories, but it's not his job to get on the soapbox to preach to people. Spoiler alert. To quote you. Spoiler alert. But he's interested in the personal side of things. He says that he got beat up because it was not more political and that he should have been out there preaching more and fighting for the people and fighting for the strike. But he said that he doesn't know what it's like to be working in the mine and working in the pit, but he understands what relationships are like. He understands what it's like for these men who are going home and they have families and wives and money is short, but the kids need to get to school and food needs to be on the table. So that is what the song is about. It's the personal struggle
Absolutely.
Of the miners' strike versus the political side of it.
The miners' strike and subsequent mine closures were in actually in the UK. And it's not American, obviously, but it parallels what was going on in the US because Margaret Thatcher, her administration wasn't very kind to the underprivileged like
Right.
Ronald Reagan. So that's the minor strike. But it's interesting, because how he can't relate to
Mm-mm.
that any more than we can relate to, being a rock singer in a band
Right.
or miners.
Or miners.
Yeah.
I've never been in a working mine. There
No.
is one set of lines that through hands of steel and heart of stone, our Labor Day has come and gone. That is apparently there's a I did not write his name down, but there is a big player in the striking movement, and that is specifically about him. Labor Day is talk about laboring,
The labor
working,
part.
yeah,
Or
like
okay.
working in the mines.
Mm-hmm.
I have specifically called out this verse that starts with the glass is cut, the bottle run dry, our love runs cold in the caverns of the night. We're wounded and feared, injured and doubt. I can lose myself, who I can't live without. That's been noted, like that's that personal relationship in
Right.
the home with the miners and his wife and his whether it's his wife or his family, I don't know. And but now like having read all of that, this is I was talking to someone recently, she who lives in Europe, and we were talking about New Year's Day and about how hearing, like for me, hearing New Year's Day live in Europe was a completely different experience than hearing
Absolutely.
New Year's. Like here in America, we're very detached
Mm-hmm.
from the actual subject matter of that song, and it clicked in Europe for me. So this is one like I've just never clicked with it
Mm-hmm.
because I knew it had historical reference and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand the history and hadn't looked it up.
Right.
So I never
Well,
never felt attached to this song.
it's not unlike, what pretty consistently goes on in like West Virginia. We just
Right.
That's just not really new, for some reason, not newsworthy here, where I think that especially at the time there were more labor workers, in the
Yeah.
UK that were, vocal about it.
You're right. Like the mining industry and the coal industry here in America is a huge deal
Hmm.
and they are suffering, and I guess it's just not something I'm tied to personally.
Yeah, right. So the song in itself, I have a Larry quote, believe it
Okay.
or not.
He
He said
talks a lot
that,
about this album.
yeah, he does. He said that the song had potential, but it was underplayed and overproduced. And I totally, totally get that, especially the overproduced part, because it's almost like, I don't know, there's something in the music that comes forefront that I feel like shouldn't be there. And the thing with the anniversary tour for Joshua Tree 30, they redid the song and added horns, which to me made it even worse, even more overproduced.
I didn't mind it live,
Live is a totally different
but
story.
they so they released that as a new a new single,
Right.
not like a radio single, but a new release, a new version, and it's like it made me really appreciate the original version because in the original version you hear this band playing and the singer singing, but yeah, to me it's like it's almost like there's like a little glossy coating over it, like it's like kind of holding it back, like you
Hmm.
can't get it. But in the new version, Bono sounds amazing. His voice
Well,
sounds amazing to
his
me.
vocals aren't all new. They
No,
mixed old vocals with new
right,
vocals.
but I think it sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
But all of a sudden you can't hear the band.
Mm-mm.
It's like they've amped up the vocals, they've turned down the band and added in these horns, and I feel like they lost an opportunity there.
I agree with that, but it's exactly what Larry said, that
Yeah,
it's underplayed and overproduced. And by adding the horns, that just, to me at least, made it more obvious that it's underplayed and overproduced.
right.
I don't love this song. I mean, I it's my least favorite song on the album. And I mean, I again, the words are, the lyrics are great. I don't really have like major complaints. I just don't like it. It's not in one of my favorite U2 songs by any means.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that quote from Larry about it being
Yeah.
overproduced because I couldn't put I'm like, why is this like turned down?
Right.
Like to me, the whole song is just like, why is the volume turned down?
Right. But again,
It's muffled
with that
almost.
re-release, they took the two bad things about the album and magnified them
Mm-hmm.
instead of making one or the other, strengthening one or the other. They made it even more underplayed and more overproduced. Anyway, that's very deep of Larry. Say that I like that quote. I mean,
Yeah.
it really stuck with me. That's all I have
Yeah.
to say about Red Hill Mining
That's all I
Town.
have too. I feel like I would love for them to the apps just completely re-record it. I'd
That
be
would be,
interested to hear what would come out of that.
yeah, that would be
Because
really good.
I want to hear the band,
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so track 7 of the Joshua Tree, which is In God's Country.
which is one
It
of
is
my favorite songs on this album.
favorites. It's been played 178 times, which is updated up to
Okay.
right now. And I've heard it 6 times.
I have heard it 4 times plus a snippet. I just assume this is a song I would never hear. Like when I hear it on the album, I just assume it's never going to be played live again because you can just hear, like, this is not Bono's. This is not in his range. It is a
Right.
key that is not his key. And I just always assume, like, this is just too hard for him to sing live. There's no way he can do it. So on the Elevation tour in 2001, I was out in Phoenix and I had this gut. I'm like, I'm in the desert. If anything's going to happen, if I'm ever going to hear a song, it's going to be
Right.
here. And sure as hell enough, so the Elevation tour started with the song Elevation, and he snipped it in during it. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in the desert and I'm hearing in God's country. It was just a little tiny bit. Then, of course, I heard it 3 times on the JT30 tour, but also, and I had forgotten about this, I heard it so in 2001, again, Elevation in Miami. Edge and Bono did an acoustic version at the Tip of the Heart, and I found video of it. And Bono plays the harmonica. And if he has ever been accused of murdering the harmonica, holy shit.
We were there
I'm
then,
like,
right?
stop. We were together, weren't we?
Yeah, we were there.
That was the end of the tour.
Yeah.
That was,
I didn't go back and look to see what my extra times I heard it were.
we went from Tampa to Miami.
Yeah.
We drove overnight. The Tampa show ended, and we hopped in a convertible and drove 4 or 5 hours.
It
You
was it,
slept in the back.
I did. This is great. This is a great story because they had 3 shows in 3 different locations in 3 days. I went to Atlanta, Tampa, and Miami.
You did them
I did.
all.
I went to all 3 shows, 3 days, 3 different cities, and when we drove from Tampa to Miami again in a convertible, and I had a sleeping bag, and when I woke up, I had slept through the night, and I was like covered in dew.
We were like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be the Florida night sky. It was cold.
It was freezing. We had the top down. I was covered in dew.
And I mean, like, I did this twice that tour where I got in a car after a show to drive to the next city. I'm like, someone does some stupid shit. Like,
Right.
that is exhausting. But so funny story about that. I happened to was in contact with a member of the crew, and for some reason on that drive, I called her and was like, "Oh, we're driving from Tampa to Miami. We have a few hours left." She's like, "Oh, it's funny. We just landed."
God.
And I was like, "Fuck you.
I
Can you
mean, if
come
we're
pick us
all
up?
going to the same place, we may as well go together.
Can you come get us?"
Just come back.
It's like
Fly
1
over my
a.m.
grave.
in the middle of the state of Florida. But anyway, I'm gonna send you that video. Like he
Okay.
goes the harmonica. It's like just stop, stop.
This totally ruins another part of this review for me. But okay.
Well, because we talked about in our whatever a few episodes ago when we were talking about the first shows in New Zealand, how he's actually really good at the harmonica. And then I saw this video.
Yeah, God. Awful.
Anyway, I'll send you. Okay, In
Yep,
God's
send it.
Country. I love this song
In
so
God's
much.
country.
In God's country. I feel like it's always just been like little, not like a little secret love, but It's not Streets or With or Without You or Still Haven't Found, but it's like this little gem on
It
side
is.
B. And
And
it's short.
I forgot
It's so
about it.
short.
It is. Every Joshua Tree show I saw, the anniversary tour, I forgot about it. Every single show. And it was so exciting. Like, okay, Trip Through Your Wires is next or whatever. And I'm like, oh
I
my
know it's
God,
God's country. In God's country.
in God's country.
So I learned something new. In this verse that says, Desert Rose, dreamed I saw a desert rose, dress torn in ribbons and in bows, like a siren she calls to me. That's a dream that Bono had.
That's crazy.
That America came to him as a dream, dressed as a desert rose, and her dress was all torn. This could very easily be confused as a love song for America, but it's
Yeah,
actually not. It's when someone that you love has turned into something that you can't respect in the moment.
right.
So again, Ronald Reagan just like fucks shit up.
Yeah, so I have kind of my brain went off on a huge tangent when I was preparing for this song, and it was just one line. I mean, it was the one lyric that's "She is liberty, she comes to rescue me, hope, faith, her vanity, the greatest gift is gold." So for some reason, I just started thinking about the Statue of Liberty and how everyone says, oh, it's a beacon to freedom. It's a beacon to the idea of America where the streets are paved with gold and everybody's
Right.
guaranteed food and land and bullshit that was never true. But I started thinking, and I feel really pretentious. I feel like a super nerdy, pretentious asshole for saying this, but it made me think that the Statue of Liberty is more like a siren, like luring sailors with
Yeah.
beautiful music to get shipwrecked. It's not a beacon of hope. It's like, come here, and then
Right.
we're gonna ruin your life or something. And I wouldn't usually say that, except that this album has really made me think about Ronald Reagan and really made me think about our current crappy administration. And so it's not really a beacon of hope. It's, like that story with the siren, the mythology of the
Yeah.
sirens on the island that
She
lure
draws you
these.
in and then she murders you.
Yeah, you get shipwrecked, and
It's like a
that.
siren she calls to me. It's
Yes, I got all of that. I just this all came to me, but it's not a. Yeah, it's not a beacon. There's no beacon of hope any. With the Statue of Liberty, it's also, you don't come into the country usually through there anyway
no.
anymore.
So we can't talk about this song without talking about Edge's guitar
Yes.
because it is like rip roaring, screeching,
Yeah.
and almost like the song is very U2-y, but I'm not sure that like kind of poppy, but I'm not sure that Edge's guitar matches it in like a
Well,
perfect way.
I love Edge's guitar in this. I think you're right. It works, but it doesn't. You wouldn't think that's you don't when you start listening to the song, you don't think that's where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
But I read a thing that Edge said they just needed an up tempo song to fit the album, and In God's Country was useful, but not a good song. And that
Huh.
hurt my heart because it's such a good song.
I
But
love this.
then I read this Bono story that he said he was frustrated trying to get rock and roll music out of Edge. You get it, you get it.
Yeah,
Um,
right?
yeah, he was trying to get rock and roll music out of Edge's guitar, and so to prove a point, he picked up a guitar and wrote this like crazy quickly just to prove to Edge that you can write a rock song
Yeah.
without, spending a million years doing it. And so Edge was like, well, that sucks. So he'd have to fix it, which he did, which was Bono's evil plan all along. And then I read that
It's so great.
Larry had the same story. And so that's true.
Right.
Because I
But
believe every word Larry says, Larry has never led me wrong with truth.
never, ever,
Never.
ever. I do like so between the second to last and last verse, so it's sad eyes, crooked crosses in God's country, and then before naked flame, she stands in naked flame. all of a sudden there's like this acoustic guitar comes in, and then Adam comes in with the bass, like this little build up before Edge
Yeah.
starts like
Going
squealing.
crazy. Yeah.
It's such a cool build up.
I love this. I mean, and I love Edge's rock and roll. He kills it. I don't know what his problem is, except that maybe he spends too much time with the ambient and nefarious Brian Eno. My favorite lyric is just
Oh,
the one lyric. I mean, I love all the lyrics, but "We Need New Dreams Tonight" is always kind of in my heart. I love.
it's just perfect.
Hmm.
And I feel like that was part of it coming in his dream. Like
Yeah,
he saw this dream and he's like, I need a new one.
yeah.
I love that little fact. I was really happy to have that. I hope it's actually true. It is now because in my mind, God's country. I'm sorry that you don't like it, Edge. Maybe he does
Yeah,
like it.
but you know what? He didn't have to like it. He can suck it. We like it.
Yeah, right? Suck it,
Yeah.
Edge. You're gonna
It's a
keep
good
playing
song.
it.
Like we're this is the opposite of like this. I mean, like he's perfect in it. Why would he even say that
Right?
crap? Whatever, Edge.
Hey there, listeners. If you're a U2 fan, you are more than likely aware of the work that Bono has done and continues to do in Africa. It's amazing work, and the exciting thing is you can get involved too. There are two simple ways. 1. Go to one.org and sign up to fight against extreme poverty. 2. Visit red.org to shop. What? Shopping helps? It sure does. By purchasing Red branded products, you are contributing to the Global Fund, which supports HIV/AIDS grants in many African countries. As your man says, where you live should not decide whether you live or whether you die. So head on over to one.org and red.org to join the Garden Tarts in doing our part to end AIDS.
Okay, so track 8 off the Joshua Tree is Trip Through Your Wires. It has been played 141 times, and I have heard it 5.
And I've heard it 3, all for the Joshua Tree 30 tour. Bono has referred to it as a hootenanny.
Hootenanny.
Which it really is. It's a country song.
It is,
You
yeah.
get on your boots, tie up your horse, get out your harmonica.
Sit on a barrel like little
Sit on
Carl.
your little Carl from Walking Dead.
Coral, get in the
Carl.
house, Coral.
Oh, Rick. Why can't he just say Carl's name normal?
Or because he's British and it has a fake Southern accent. Coral, get back in the house, Coral. I love
swear,
this.
sometimes my husband and I walk around the house just going, Carl!
God, that damn Carl.
Oh my gosh, if you don't know what
Yeah.
we're listening to, you have to go back to side A.
Yeah. Except
Joshua
you,
Tree side A.
really should know what we're talking about. Pop culture. Okay, so I interestingly didn't really love this song until we started preparing for this podcast, which now I really like it. I don't know what happened, but I think that, when I listen to a U2 song, I kind of I hold on to every word, every chord, everything like so tightly. Like I have to overanalyze everything. But this song, I just like I didn't dig deep to anything in it. I just listened to it without, being cerebral, and
Right.
I like it. It definitely sounds unfinished. I mean, it has that studio sound, which I generally don't like,
But it
but
works with the song.
it totally works with the song. Like if it was crazy mixed and produced,
Right.
it wouldn't work. It totally works. I have one more statement about this song and then I'm out, because I really just thought about the song as a whole instead of dissecting it. But I love Bono's harmonica. And before
So
you said
good.
that, I said, yeah, I call bullshit when he says otherwise. I'm like, that's back to the Bubby Bono thing.
Yep. It's too salty.
Oy vey. But I guess he's not wrong if you have this Miami
Well,
show.
just because you're good at something doesn't mean it's good every night.
Right, right. But I kind of was proud of myself with this because I just left it. I didn't pick it
Yeah.
through. Anyway, that's all I have about that.
Also, there's no harmonica traditionally in God's country.
Right. So he
So,
probably just hadn't taken out the harmonica in a while.
yeah, and maybe it was tuned for maybe it was a different harmonica for a
Yeah.
different song or something. Who knows? I'll send it to you. I'll
My
put it in the show
brother,
notes. I'll
I have
add it to
a
the show notes. Y'all can see
okay.
it.
Yeah, please.
Make your own
I,
decision. Go
I
ahead.
have a funny story about harmonica. My brother got a harmonica. He was in, I don't know, early high school, and he tried, he played harmonica a little, tried guitar a little. I think both of those fell through, but my cousin Adam came over one night and he was like, "Oh, this is cool. Can I try your harmonica?"
Yeah.
I don't think he really thought about the dynamics of a harmonica, except that Jeremy, after Adam tries to play it for a little while, Jeremy was like, "Hey, have you ever tried to play the harmonica with your nose?" And Adam's like, "You can have the harmonica, buddy."
I'm not touching your harmonica again.
No. I just thought that was anytime I think about harmonicas, I think about that story. Because I think Adam went in it blind. Like, you don't really want to share someone else's harmonica. There's a whole lot of spit in there.
That is like fluid central.
Yeah. So don't just use someone's harmonica, but if you're gonna, make sure they don't play it with their nose first. Because then it's like Booker Central.
That's disgusting.
Really.
You're all related. It's all family. So this song, I always kind of thought this song was fun and I was excited to hear it live, but hearing it live, like, definitely brought new life to it for me.
Yeah.
And now it's even more fun. And I talked about on side A how I still haven't found what I'm looking for is as American as this album gets because of the gospel roots, but I kind of forgot about this song because this is straight up country roots, which the Irish did not invent.
So I actually disagree with that.
Really?
I really do, because if you listen to like the beginnings of country music that kind of comes from like bluegrass kind of stuff,
Okay.
that's straight up Irish music.
You think so? Okay.
To me, that's my opinion. My dad has talked about that before.
Interesting.
So I might call bullshit on Larry on that one. That might be his first.
That might be the first thing you don't trust him on.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think that. I don't know that you can say it was direct. I don't know. But I don't think that's so far off from the truth.
I mean, this to me just comes straight out of like the Western saloon.
Right.
The song. And it's like sex, booze, and rock and roll.
Right.
Like, I don't think there's any, like, maybe there's love of a woman in there. Maybe he's tripping through America. Like, who the fuck knows? It's just like, It's like, my mama's in jail, my grandma's sick, my dog got hit by a car, like country music.
Right.
Like, life is crazy.
I hit my boyfriend's car with a baseball bat. I ain't got no shoes.
I love it. Like, there's no reason to dissect it because I don't think a lot of work was done on it. I think some of it is live from the studio. I would have absolutely loved to have been in the studio.
Yeah.
When this came to life because it is so much fun.
It sounds like fun. You know what it is?
What?
It's the stuff of country
songs.
Hashtag pop
music. Oh my God, can we skip straight to talking about pop?
No.
I don't even want to talk about pop. I want to talk about Pop Mart.
Yes.
Okay, another day.
Another day. Another year.
There's tambourines in this song.
Bono plays tambourine.
I have highlighted thunder, thunder on the mountain. There's a rain cloud in the desert sky. In the distance, she saw me coming round. But I don't know why I highlighted it.
Like coming around the mountain?
I was calling out. I don't know.
I like it. I just like it because I do.
Yep. It's a hootenanny.
It is a hootenanny.
Next song.
Okay. Well, that was light and fun. Let's move on to track 9.
Ooh.
One Tree Hill. Played 99 times. I've heard it 5.
I've heard it 4 times, and I've been having a like my brain is a bit of a like a sieve. Things don't stick in it, which is why friends, fans, and listeners, I turn to my dear friend Hillary to tell me what happens in my life because I don't remember things. So I saw 3 Joshua Tree shows, which means I should have heard this 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
But my stats on at youtube.com tell me I've heard it 4 times plus a snippet, which kind of blew my mind. So I looked, and on the 360 tour in 2011 in Chicago, that week was, and we'll get into this, that week was the anniversary of Greg Carroll's death, and we'll talk more about him in a minute. And they had the show ended with Moment of Surrender, and Bono threw in a snippet of One Tree Hill in tribute. He dedicated the song to him. And then they just decided to play the whole song afterwards. And watching videos of it on my brain's like having little like little twitches, like, oh, I was there. I remember that. So I have a little bonus in there.
That's very exciting.
But so Greg Carroll, if you don't know, was he was from New Zealand, and the band was correct me if any of this is wrong, Hillary. The band was originally on tour in New Zealand. Bono's been telling this story because they just finished touring. We just finished some shows in New Zealand. And he was on the local crew. And he came to the band and he said, "You're missing one thing. Your show's missing one thing." And they said, "What?" And he said, "It's me." So they were
That's
like,
new.
Okay.
That's a new added little bit of that story.
Well, things grow.
It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It just Bono never. But I heard him mention that.
Yeah. But maybe it's like the Cliff Notes. Well, anyway, he became a regular part of the crew.
This was in 85. They were touring. They started the Unforgettable Fire tour in New Zealand.
Right. Mm-hmm. But so what I didn't understand was that, I mean, I knew he was kind of like Bono's assistant on stage, this and this and that. But what I didn't understand until recently, that he had become not only like his personal assistant in his life, but like his truly best friend. Like he was helping, when his wife needed, like when Allie needed things, when his wife, Allie,
other one,
like Greg would help take care of that. And he was really like an integral part of the family, even outside of the U2 realm. And there was a time when Greg was doing a favor for Bono. He was riding Bono's motorcycle to return. It was in Dublin to take it home. And he was in a fatal car accident doing this favor for Bono on his bike. And this was during the recording of the Joshua Tree. And then this as well.
He died like days after they got back from the Conspiracy of Hope tour.
Was that it? Yeah.
Yeah. They met him, and Bono said that on the first night that they met him, their first night in New Zealand, that Greg took Bono up to One Tree Hill. He said there are 7 volcanic islands that make up Auckland, and the tallest is One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
And so the first day that, he was friends with him, the first day he was in New Zealand, he had this, kind of cool experience. So unfortunately he was killed, which really apparently affected a lot of people. There's a Bono quote that just really kind of breaks my heart, but he said that this was, the second death in his life that he had to deal with, aside from his mother's. But his quote exactly is, I guess the problem with dealing with death for me is that it's always the same death. It's always my mother dying. It's always the center of the universe disappearing and having to find another one, which just
is
heartbreaking.
It's absolutely heartbreaking.
But he also said that it sort of set off what became the Joshua Tree in terms of, the just gravity of the whole thing. It said we had to fill the hole in our heart with something very, very large indeed.
The song itself is, if I understand correctly, is a kind of retelling of the ceremonial funeral from Greg's heritage in New Zealand. His family was natives of the area and very traditional.
Maori.
Yes. Maori, very traditional burial. Apparently, it was like a 3-day traditional service of sorts. And this tells the story. Like Bono said, our heads spun and then they kept spinning.
Right.
Like it was
He
just such an intense experience.
So Larry and Bono and their significant others took Greg's body home to New Zealand. He was in Dublin.
Right.
So just all of it is just like horrible. I can't even imagine going through
Yeah,
something
it's
like that.
unthinkable. Yeah.
So I'd heard Bono say this before, but I didn't see it in anything that I read for this, but I remember an interview years and years ago, he said that his vocals were one take because he couldn't do it again.
I read that really recently.
So I
It's at
haven't
the
read,
end. It's
yeah,
mostly at the end. It's live in studio.
right.
It's a moment. Yeah.
I mean that I don't have a lot of additional, like, I don't dissect this song so much because I feel like it speaks for itself, just the raw emotion and the beauty. It's just perfect in every way. But I mean, the lyrics, God, I'll see you again when the stars fall from the sky and the moon has turned red over One Tree Hill. That is just beautiful.
96, I was in Dublin and I visited Windmill Lane, and a huge part of the wall, someone had written that on there. And I recently had to find the picture because the band has been in New Zealand just recently touring and visiting One Tree Hill and singing this song in the land where it was created. And for some reason, I took that picture. When I saw that written on the wall outside the band's studio, there was something about it that just hung with me so much. And
Yeah.
I put it up on Instagram. I'll link to it in the show notes because there's just something about it that stuck with me forever. I have noted that like everything about the song is every piece of it, whether it's the band, the instruments, the Bono, like it's so subtle leading into it, but like it just flows so beautifully. Like it's
Right.
so gorgeous. And then as it like climaxes with Bono's live moment of just absolute raging grief is insane. There's some quote when he said that he's like, "Who's gonna ask me to do that again? Like,
Right.
who's gonna tell me to go through that again? Like, no
Right.
one's going to."
Mm-mm.
It's interesting at the end, the song kind of finishes, and then it goes into that little, "Oh great ocean, oh great sea, run to the ocean, run to the sea." It took me a long time to remember what song that was part of.
So originally, and this is
As
my
it
fun.
flows into the next track.
Right. Originally, it was mistakenly attached to Exit. So if
Was
you
it?
played
Okay.
it on vinyl or if you played it on a CD, that end part of One Tree Hill was actually the beginning of track 10, which is Exit.
Maybe that's why I
So
was
yeah,
confused because it
if
switched
you
around.
right, if you listen to vinyl or CD, you did not hear it. Like it was absolutely like
Yeah.
if you skip to the next song, Exit started off with the
Oh
end of
great
One Tree Hill.
ocean.
They fixed it, obviously. So like if you listen to it on, Apple Music or any
It works correctly
correct
now.
it.
Okay, One Tree Hill, I don't think I have anything else to say. It's just perfect. And I think it's just the perfect segue into Exit.
Yes. Track 10, Exit. It is one of my favorite U2 songs of all time, and it was number one on my bucket list to hear live for 25 years until I heard it on the anniversary tour. And now I've heard it 5 times. It has been played 167 times.
They did play this on the original tour,
Yes.
and it was mayhem.
Very much so, mayhem. My fun fact is that when Bono injured his shoulder in DC during the original Joshua Tree tour, was during Exit. It had been raining and he slipped and fell, and I think it was just out of control in his head anyway. But if you're ever brave enough to watch the Rattle and Hum outtakes, you can see the aftermath of that fall and Bono's visit to the hospital where he was so dazed he literally did not know his own name.
Yeah.
But
His
also,
wife, Allie, had to, pause intended, I had to like tell them his name.
Say I'm his wife, I can give you his
Yeah.
information because he wasn't capable of saying anything. But heads up, those outtakes are like watching paint dry, so good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck. There's a
Just
few
don't
like
watch
that's
them.
an interesting moment, and then when he discovers the squirrels in Memphis.
Yeah, we
Those are the
just
good
told
parts.
you the interesting things, so you don't need to watch it. So you can thank us for watching it on VHS a million years ago.
And it's like on VHS, like 100 generations old.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
like a
hard to
copy
watch
of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and
times
then some.
269.
Yeah.
But if you Google, it is available on the internet somewhere. Bono with the squirrels in Memphis
Yeah.
is one of the most adorable things I've ever seen in my life.
That is really good.
I'll see if I can Google it and include it here.
There, like, I swear, half of those outtakes, like 2 hours of those outtakes, are them in like some utility van in New York talking about nothing.
And be like, are they still filming?
Yeah, like not
What are we
even,
are they filming? What do we talk
you
about?
know, like you like to hear about your rock stars being like normal people. This isn't even normal people. This isn't stuff you want to hear from rock stars. This is just like, oh, there's a stop sign. Are we still Are we still in Manhattan? Is Rusty still in the Navy?
Well, now we don't even
We
need to mention that in the Rattle and Hum episode.
no,
We covered it
are
all.
we at the airport clock?
Look, kids, Big Ben Parliament. But
That's
and
the
he also
conversation.
got that
It's not interesting.
that scar on his chin he got during Exit too.
That was during Bullet because he was holding the light and he fell on the
Right.
light.
I read some quote recently where he quoted that during Exit. But you're right.
He was wrong if he
And-
said that because it was
Yeah.
during Bullet.
I read that during like researching this app. But you're
Yeah.
right, because he didn't have that.
Yeah, if
But it
we
was during that tour. It was during the Joshua
it
Tree
was
tour.
it was the first show of the Joshua Tree tour that I guess in the rehearsal the day before, like
Mm-hmm.
the last rehearsal before the tour, he fell and he had to get stitches
So rough.
and
Remember that one time recently when he during Bullet when he had the spotlight and he knocked his spectacles off his face?
remember that time we were at Madison Square Garden and not paying attention, and then all of a sudden the backs of our heads were like hot
Hot on fire because the spotlight was
on
on
fire, and we turned around and we were blinded by the light. Ha! See what I
it.
did there? Hashtag Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently the rock star wants you to look at him all the time.
All the time. And if not,
Unless
he's
he's messing
way
up,
out.
then you notice.
Right.
Anyway, Exit. I would like to say, I think it's obvious that U2 has not written a song like this up to here, and I don't think they have ever written anything.
My sentence is this is nothing
Yeah.
like U2 has done before or has done since.
No, this is
Just
it.
dirty, noisy, angry, and it's not like Sunday Bloody Sunday or Human Rights angry. It's like vicious, murderous, angry, out of
This
control, chaos.
If I could so boldly say, the devil inside.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Hashtag
If
in
you
excess.
so the lyrics are so heavy and so full of rage, but if you take out the lyrics, it's like the drum, the guitars, the bass, it's almost like they're fighting each other too. And they come together, but it's like so angry all together. The music, the lyrics, the singing.
Something I don't think I noticed until I heard it live was how little time the lyrics actually take up in the song.
Right.
Like it's more instrumental. Oh, like crap.
It's a huge performance. It's not to me this is what which is what determines the difference between a concert and a show.
Yes.
This songs like this make a show. And when we rarely say concert if you've not noticed. We generally say show.
Right.
Because
these are
we're to it
planned performances.
Yeah. Bono said that in a way it was like the band's purging their own demons, their own anger and fury. And it was kind of like coming to terms with death and grief. And it was an exorcism. And I totally get exorcism when you hear
Yeah.
the song because there's a lot of purging going on. So Bono said that he'd been reading the Executioner song and In Cold Blood, and he said this was his attempt at writing a story in the mind of a killer. And years later, I heard him discuss that preparing for the song he read In Cold Blood. So I read In Cold Blood, and it
Just a little
became
light reading there for
like
you.
it's a short book, and
It is short book, yeah.
it's heavy, but it's so well written by Truman Capote. I still have never read the Executioner song, but I guess I should do that. But In Cold Blood is by far one of my favorite books, which I don't know what that says about me, but my redemption to that is saying one of my other favorite books is Peter Pan, but then I'm not sure what about me.
What that's saying about you
No,
either.
no redemption there. But Bono has said that, this song has taken him to bad places and it's hard to come out of it. And I get that. I mean, there's nothing half-assed about his performance of Exit. He pours his entire being into that character.
He created a new character for this tour called the Shadow Man that he said like it like puts him in a bubble. That's my phrase. But it protects him from getting hurt. It's something he can step into and then step out of. Because before he would step into the song and not he would get physically hurt.
Right.
And then had a hard time coming out of it. So he created this character that stems from something, but we'll talk about the JT tour another time.
Yeah. But he said there's not a people talk about whether this song's about a murder or someone committing suicide, and he's like, I don't care which one. People can talk about however they want it. He leaves that open, but man, this is just really it's my favorite off the Joshua Tree, I would have to say. But just the build up, oh God, what a freaking perfect song.
And there's some interesting stuff in it musically. I hear like with the drum and the bass, I hear a heartbeat. Like someone who's going fucking crazy and like their heart racing. Sometimes it's calm, sometimes it's not. And then there's also these crickets in the background. It's like a nighttime. You'll hear it. Go back, like it starts at the beginning and you'll hear it later in the song too. It's like the dark of the night. It's the sound of the quiet outside.
Right.
It's crickets, like the bugs. And there's something about that. It is so creepy yet calming that's really fucks with my brain.
Yeah. God, I'm looking at the lyrics again as you're talking, and I can't even look. I just have to smile. It's such a horrible song. I mean, the lyrics are so just violent, and they shouldn't make me smile like this, but they're so perfect. Like writing a song like that is
like the lines, he wanted to believe in the hands of love.
Right.
I love it so much.
See, the hands that Bill can also pull down.
Oh, the hands that Bill can also pull down. The hands of love.
The hands of love.
The hands of love. Put your hand against the screen.
Television.
I have a vision.
That's another tour.
Whole another episode. Oh, do you have more for Exit other than it's just absolutely fucking brilliant?
No, I can say how many times I think it's friggin' amazing. I can just keep saying that for another hour, but I think you guys got the point. So track 11, the final track of the Joshua Tree, is Mothers of the Disappeared. It's been played 71 times, and I've heard it 5.
3 for me. We've talked about this in other episodes, that this is ending on a prayer. What? A U2 album ending on a prayer?
What the heck? Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of backstory on this. It's the kind of, it's the same time. Bono writes about the same time that he was in El Salvador that they speak of, they play of in Below the Blue Sky. He said that while he was there were stories of people who belonged to the opposition just being taken from their homes in the middle of the night and killed just for their beliefs, like no trial, just dead. these mothers, all they wanted to know was where their children were buried. And the same thing happened in Chile. But I think the thing to remember, which I kind of touched on in during Bullet on side A, that this was a war. These people, these killers, were being bankrolled by the United States government. And it wasn't like a secret. Like the Reagan administration asked Congress to sell arms to Iran to get the money to bankroll the Contras. And Congress said no, and he did it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, we're just kind of in a today, you know, with everything that's going on with talk of impeachment, this is a pretty heavy deal against Congress's wishes. You sell money to our enemy. I mean, you sell weapons to our enemy, and then you use them to cause a civil war. Thousands and thousands of people were killed. It just blows my mind that, like, I didn't know all that history because I was a kid when that happened, but listening to the lyrics, reading up about this just makes me angry. I also feel slightly guilty because I don't love this song. I mean, it's so meaningful and important. It's just not my favorite. But again, every song on the Joshua Tree is amazing compared to most songs. And in the context of that, it's a great song. It's just not my love. But that saying live, that's another story.
It's a different story. For me, the emotion doesn't come through in the story. It doesn't come through in the recorded version.
No, not at all.
It does. There's a great quote from Bono. Someone asked him, do you feel a lot of sympathy for America? And this is where some of this repeats some of the stuff he said, so I won't go into it, but he talks about his love-hate relationship with America, how he loves the people, but not the politics. But he says, there's no question in my mind of the Reagan administration's involvement in backing the regime that is committing these atrocities. I doubt if the people of America are even aware of this. It's not my position to lecture them or tell them their place or to even open their eyes up to it in a very visual way, but it is affecting me and it affects the words I write and the music we make.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah, so knowing that is a different, because nowadays we're used to, I don't think it's not in the music and in the songs, but vocally, Bono is very vocal about things that he wants to speak about in the world and speak out against. But for him to say that it's not his place to lecture, which is true. He can educate and
he's not
stand by things you believe in, this and that. He's not a lecturer. And people may think it comes off that way, but really he just is passionate.
He tells the story.
He tells his truth and what he believes.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting.
That is really interesting.
I mean,
that's a great quote.
And Mothers of the Disappeared was an actual group. This was a campaign trying to tell the story of these families that had lost, whose loved ones had literally disappeared, and using their mothers to tell that story. So it's not just the name of the song, but it's actually the name of a campaign that was in El Salvador.
So #Sting.
Yeah.
Sting has a song with the same exact subject matter. They Dance Alone off the album Nothing Like the Sun.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that #Sting for 2 episodes now.
You sure have.
Yeah, so I read a thing where Bono said he wrote the song, or he wrote the guitar part, I guess, on his mother-in-law's Spanish guitar, as you do. And then I'm like, no follow-up? There's no follow-up to that? Why does Allie's Irish mother have a Spanish guitar laying around the house? I need some backstory there.
Right?
Please. Don't just leave us hanging like that. Why? But that brings me that it always surprises me how much Bono contributes musically to the songwriting. You think of him vocal, you think of him lyrically, but he really he really takes care of a lot of that music. I mean, especially on this album, half the songs, I swear, Edge says, I got to give Bono credit for this one, or Bono says, this is how I wrote that, whatever. But from what I understand. So he came up with the guitar for Mothers of the Disappeared, Trip Through Your Wires, and what was the other one I just mentioned? Oh, In God's Country.
Yes, because he was helping Edgy out.
Yeah. He was motivating Edgy. This is another song where the music may as well be the lyrics because the music tells the story of, loss and despair in Central and South America and you don't really even need those lyrics. You can
No.
hear it. You can hear it in the music what this song is.
Yeah, the lyrics are just the vocals just become another instrument in the telling versus the visuals.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, that happens a lot on YouTube stuff, but the two ones that knock it out of the park are the two about El Salvador.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful song. And
Beautiful.
I love that they continue this tradition of ending on these prayer-like tunes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Forever.
And they end the shows on it too.
Over whiskey and cake, I would ask Bono, what opinions of ours would you like to hear regarding the Joshua Tree? Like,
oh, yeah.
do you have questions for us, like what we like and what we don't like, and what's our favorite, and where his voice sounds best, or I don't know. Like, ask us some questions, buddy. We're bringing the cake.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm not paying for the whiskey. He's got that, but we're bringing the cake. At least.
So, my question for Bono over whiskey and cake would be, I really want to go back to this Red Hill Mining Town remake. Does he really think it's better? Or like why that song? Why did they re-release? I don't know.
I would think that it would be because that's the song they never played.
Yeah.
To kind of hype because it wasn't a single. It wasn't to like resell the Joshua Tree. It was to hype the tour.
Right. Does he really think the new version is that much better?
Right.
The new recorded version.
Certainly hope not.
So I have an afterthought quote.
Okay.
And this comes from Paul McGuinness, their manager at the time. Someone had asked them about the Joshua Tree coming after the experimental nature of the Unforgettable Fire. And his quote is, "I thought that was a wonderful record, but the Joshua Tree was an extraordinary achievement. The best thing about the Joshua Tree, marvelous and magnificent as it is that they can do 10 times better than that. They can make much better records than that. The group is just beginning, and it's more fun than I thought it could possibly be."
Wow. Oh God, I have chills.
I really like that.
Really, really like that. Well done picking that one out, Jenny.
So that was a good end note to this amazing album.
That is, yeah. And that concludes our Joshua Tree. So this is also our last album podcast of 2019.
It sure is.
We still have many ups on the horizon, but in terms of albums, we'll see you and Rattle and Hum in 2020. And that's a new decade, Jenny. In 10 years. Yeah, in 10 years is going to be 2030. And that's like the distant future.
It is.
I mean, we were born in the 70s, and in 10 years, it's going to be 2030.
I wonder how many shows we'll see before 2030.
I know, right? A lot. Especially.
It better be fucking right.
It better be a lot. I swear to God. If anyone's listening, we're not joking here. We're not done. And we've got a whole Garden Tarts World Tour.
Hell yeah, we've already started planning it. We've got the motorhome. We're going to do on-site interviews. We're going to get the fans involved.
You guys are going to hear us podcast from Jenny's Bonobago.
The Tartmobile.
The Tartmobile. I'm ready. I'm
so ready for that.
Not financially, but I'm all geared up, and I could pack my suitcase with tour stuff right now. This is another thing we should add an ep about is preparing for a tour.
Oh, it's a good one. We'll do it pre-tour.
Pre-next tour. Yeah. Whenever that is. Hopefully very, 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 very soon.
Well, let's
Not
give my pocketbook a little bit of time to read.
so I'm thinking 2021.
Okay.
Let's do that.
21, maybe 22.
22 is a
Maybe the
long way away.
But if the excitement starts in 21,
Right, that's true.
we'll get there.
Or maybe if someone would just tell us what's happening in the future. I mean,
Okay.
not like, not like a crystal ball or a time machine, an actual person that has some
Larry. It
sort
would
of
have to be Larry.
Larry tells us what's going to happen next.
And
That
we
would
can
be
plan
nice.
it out. Put it on the calendar.
Yep. Just let me know now. We won't tell anybody. We really won't. You have no
We
idea.
are actually very good at secrets.
You have no idea what our lives are. We have
We
all
got
kinds of
secrets you
secrets in
don't
the
even
vault.
know.
You don't even know what we know. I mean, not just in terms of U2 stuff, but just in terms of life in general. All kinds of stuff that we know that you guys just couldn't.
And we can't
Say anything.
never say.
No. I mean, eventually we can say this stuff, but it's got to all play out.
Yeah.
In
In real time.
real time. Maybe let's have a little supersonic time in between and then get to real time.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Just let's hibernate until
just sleep
just
until Larry wakes us up.
Nap until Larry wakes us up.
It's time,
I've got
girls.
this really nice weighted blanket and my fancy pillows, and I could just go to sleep for a while.
So what would Larry say if Bono would call us, "Hey ladies," and Edge would call out, "What's up, bitches?" What would We've had this discussion before. What would Larry say?
I don't know what he would say. What would Adam say? I feel like Adam would say something creepy.
No, I think Adam would just have like this.
He just has some mighty eye contact.
I feel like Adam would just have this really, I think, sweet smile that would just be like, "Come here." Okay. But Larry might be like a firm handshake.
See, do you think so? I feel like Larry might just be like,
you think he's got like a dead fish thing going on?
It's like flops, like he doesn't have time he doesn't want to, he's too much of a germaphobe or something for a firm handshake. Yeah. I met this lady that's the wife of a pretty major politician a couple weeks ago. And holy crap, that lady did not know how to shake a hand.
Really?
Yeah. How do you
that should be her life?
I would think so, but it really kind of was disturbing. Yeah. No, I feel like Larry wouldn't have time. Maybe he would fist bump. No. Do you think
an elbow bump?
He maybe would do that.
Larry would just light your cigarette.
He would do that, and then I could punch him in the back of the head and just run away, which has been my plan for 20 some years. Punch him in the back of the head and run away. So he doesn't know that I did it, but we know I did it.
But that's what counts.
Yeah. I would not, for anyone listening, I would not actually punch Larry in the back of the head.
No.
But we have stories. We have great stories about that for another.
We both have a nice Larry story.
We both have a very nice Larry story. I have actually
singular for each of us.
Yeah. I have a nice follow-up to my Larry story, but it is very singular. It's still the same story. But yeah, we both have. Let's just have an ep on Larry.
Okay.
I mean, not Edge, not
It'll
Adam,
take 7 minutes.
Just Larry mini ep. We'll time it 7 minutes.
Okay.
That's all I got to say about Larry.
Well, he's the founder of our favorite band. So.
He is, and we love all the boys. It's just sometimes funnier to pick on others in different ways than others, and it's sometimes different to how we express our love.
This is very true. Very true. Okay, well, should we say good night and so long and farewell?
We should, I think.
Okay, well, we'll be back in like maybe a week or so to talk about more of the JT19 shows.
Yeah, but those are just mini eps. Yeah. This is the official of our full-length eps. This is the last one of the year. So
this year, this is the end of the main season. Everything else will be bonus, and we'll come back in 2020 after the new year and talk about Rattle and Hum.
So happy all the holidays, all of them, and
Thanks to all of you that are touring right now. Hope you have an amazing time.
Safe travels.
We're following what you're doing, and we're following the band, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, and safe travels to the band, and much luck, and success, and longevity.
Yes, and may your wardrobe be perfect.
And your rainbows paved with smiles.
And may your hair stay in place. And your glasses not fall off your face.
And you don't fall on your face.
No knock on wood right now, Hillary Frank.
Nothing. No.
It's me knocking on wood.
Hey, it's not just one person falling. People fall on those stages.
Fall. I don't want any of them to fall. I don't want anyone anywhere related to fall.
I mean, I fall down, you fall down.
We all fall down. And then you fall down, and I fall down.
Again.
And I fall down.
Again. And then I fell down. And then they fell down. No one fall down. Stay upright.
Okay, well, so long for everyone.
Okay. Good night. Remember
listening.
to tip your bartenders and wait staff. Drive home safely.
Yes. Cheers. Let's go have another.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey there, friends. Jenny here from the Garden Tarts, and I want to tell you about Anchor, which is the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it is 100% free, and there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will even distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard across multiple platforms, including Spotify and Apple. You can make money with your podcast, and it's everything you need to create a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
Also, we love hearing from people and chatting with people, and of course, we love talking you too. So you can drop us a line on Instagram or Twitter, _Garden Tarts, or you can even email us at wearethegardentarts@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon. If you enjoy this podcast, we would love it if you would share it with your other YouTube-loving friends, as well as leave a review for us on whatever platform you use to listen to podcasts on. We would really, really love that. May your music be loud and your whiskey be strong. Until next time, cheers.